Starting with the Russell Martin signing, where does that leave someone like a Michael McHenry or Tony Sanchez looking further down development-wise? Where does it leave guys like that, guys who it's failed McHenry's pace to kind of throw out the runners a little bit, and then in Sanchez's case, just kind of working on his development?
Well, we like both Michael and Tony a lot. We still feel good about their ability to impact and help the organization. We talked a long time about having a guy split time with Michael McHenry and almost going co-catchers and having one guy end up catching 100 games or 60 games, or maybe splitting at 81 and 81. But we felt that Russ Martin gave us the biggest impact for the dollars in our organization and a chance for us to improve the greatest from where we were a year ago to add to our continued growth and development of the players that we had internally. In terms of Tony, it allows us to work on his time frame. It allows us not to rush him. Rushing a player to the big leagues is the worst thing you can do for a player. We're still excited about Tony. We still like Michael McHenry a lot. In fact, we think between Martin and McHenry, we've got a very strong catching tandem. And Tony will be allowed to continue to grow and develop.
How disappointed were you towards the end of last season, and how does that motivate yourself, the team, everybody for this upcoming season?
Well, obviously, it was a tough finish to the season. We did some very good things for a 4-month period of time. We struggled a little bit, and then things unraveled on us. And we've worked hard this offseason to evaluate why it happened, how it happened, and most importantly, how we can protect it from happening again. And there's any number of answers. There's not one simple answer to it. We've got to be better as a front office. I've got to be better. We've got to be better as a coaching staff. Our players need to continue to grow and develop. We've got to continue to take steps forward as an organization, depth-wise, get the most out of our players, and that's a big challenge for us. And it's why we do the things we do, to develop our players fundamentally first and foremost, but also mentally, personally, and physically.
What are you patting yourself on the back for for this past calendar year, and what are you kind of at saying, hey, I want a mulligan over? Is there anything that really sticks out to you based on this past year?
I don't know that we pat ourselves on the back or anything. And there are
momentarily
no
pats.
But we do take pride in the development of the organization as a whole. To have 4 of the top 45 prospects in baseball, 6 of the top 100, to be recognized as one of the top 10 or so farm systems, maybe even might get in the top 5 this year, getting some of the impact guys. We've gone from being a team that had the worst record in all of baseball in September of 2010 to being a team that, had it won a few more games, would have been in the playoffs in September of 2012. We still have a lot of work to do, but there's some good things that we need to celebrate our small successes along the way, and we certainly believe we're leading to bigger successes. In terms of mulligans, we evaluate ourselves all the time, and we take a look at what we could have done differently, what we should have done differently. You look at where we were on July 31st, and while we were adding players that we liked and thought were going to make us better, short-term, moderate-term, and long-term, did we disrupt the chemistry? Was there more we could have done? Should we have done something differently? How do we scout? How do we evaluate? So it's part of the year-end organizational review. I don't know that I would take anything back, but certainly we can learn from the outcomes.
Just looking at it from a fan's perspective, you guys have improved 22 games over the last couple of years, as Mr. Connolly told me. Just what are you looking for now? What do you have to say to the fans now who have been with you again for this 20-year period and are hungry for that winner?
Stay with us. We're closer than we've ever been. The second highest win total, or tied for the highest win total in 20 years. Consecutive upticks. A group of young players that are hungry, a group of veteran players that are ready to help us lead, a group of young players in our system that are there to, whether it's directly impact our club by what they do or indirectly, the Robbie Grossmans and the Colton Canes that bring us Wandy Rodriguez. We've got the pieces that we can add to it. We're going to grow. We're going to continue to get better. The 81 win mile marker is not something we're pursuing. We're pursuing playing playoff games in October and being the last team to win its last game in October. That's why we're here.
2 years ago at PirateFest, Andrew McCutchen said he wanted a Ricky Henderson-like mentality. The stolen base was quote-unquote his. And now you guys are really echoing that on the base paths and how the stolen bases need to feel more authoritative. How do you think the team needs to go? I know, given the position, but how does the team need to go about being more aggressive, but smart aggressive on the base paths?
Well, again, we can't give away outs, so you get 27 outs on offense if you play a 9-inning game, and you need to protect every one of those outs. But at the same time, if there's a free 90 feet, and it's more than just base stealing, it's base running. When we get a free 90, a ball in the dirt that we can get to second or third base on, we've got to get to second or third. Ball in the gap, we've got to take the right base. We've got to be intelligently aggressive in the batter's box. We've got to be intelligently aggressive on the bases as well. Part of it's the freedom to run, which comes from the manager, and Clint's going to pick his spots as guys earn more opportunity. Part of it is technique and no offense to Luis Silverio, he was a wonderful man. A year ago, we were very good on the bases. This year, we weren't so good on the bases. We made a coaching change, bringing in a man that we believe can impact not only technique, but belief and mentality.
Does that also fall into Nick Leiva's hands a little bit as well from the third base decisions as well?
Well, it's more the base runner's mentality. They've got to give Nick a chance to send them, and it's very easy to criticize the third base coach because the fan gets a reaction about 5 seconds later than the third base coach gets, and there are times where he believes if a base runner gets a good jump and is moving and is anticipating scoring, he can send him and he's safe, and the base runner's failed on one of those three things. So it's as much our base runner's mentality and our base runner's technique to allow Nick to be successful, and then Nick needs to make good calls as well. But again, there's a lot of it that if you think in real time with the base coach, make the call before he makes it, for the reason he makes it, and it's a little bit more challenging sometimes than the armchair quarterback may think it is.
2 years ago, the organization was all in. Last year, it was kind of no excuses, the T-shirts that were passing around. What is it this year?
You know what? The players and the staff and Clint kind of lead that one. We're just working hard to be a playoff caliber team and to be a deep and talented organization. It's what they grab a hold of. It's what lights up that player group, and sometimes what lights up that player group may not light up the common fan. But what's important to them is what becomes important to us as an organization. And we're not a big slogan organization. It's what grabs the players and what they buy into.
Lastly, what do you have to say about the tens of thousands of fans that come to Pirate Fest every year that support the team and fulfill their hangovers of Pirate baseball?
Well, we can't thank the fans enough that come out for Caravan and go to the malls or go to the different settings that we go to, and it's a great opportunity for us to get in among them and say thank you, express our appreciation for their passion, for their commitment, for their stick-to-itiveness with us. We recognize that we've challenged them more and more every single season, but we're also closer to rewarding them. The fans that come out to Pirate Fest, same thing. It's a great opportunity to mingle with them, say thank you to them, let them know how much we appreciate their support, and let them know that really good things are just around the corner. And we've talked about the future a lot, and it's exciting to be here and talking about the present as well as the future.